What's going on, traders? Sandro O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is May 28th, 2021. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. We have a glorious 3-day weekend ahead of us. Before we get started, please go ahead and click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today, we're going to talk about the price action in the indices as we always do. We'll go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors. We'll talk about some of my trades for the day, and then we'll wrap up some options order flow. Before we do that, quick risk disclaimer. Nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan, your own risk parameters. And last, but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump in here. So let's take a look. We were talking about this earlier in our Pristine Capital pre-market webinar, that today, beginning of a holiday weekend, on most buy-side desks, for the most part, a lot of the big portfolio managers and really big decision makers at a lot of these firms, they're all out of the office. They're already on vacation. So what we were kind of expecting today was, there's probably going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of chop. This isn't going to be the best day, for trading, or really like the best day to initiate positions, that sort of thing. Like there's just going to be a lot of noise in what we're seeing today. And I think that's sort of what we got. We had the S&P 500 as measured by the SPY close up 0.18%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ finish up 0.32%. We had the IWM small caps cooling off after a big day yesterday, down 0.07%. And we had the Dow Jones close up 0.3%. Looking at the price action, this looks just fine here. So we had our really swift move up from this low down here. And now this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 of consolidation. To me, that's a pretty nice setup. Went through this the other day. I'm going to just revisit this very quickly. We had a very similar setup occur in March into April. Not saying that this is going to happen again, but here we had 3 days of consolidation. And we had, a nice ripper of a rally after that. Who knows, maybe we get something similar for the markets in June. We'll have to see. Yeah, overall, not much to speak of today. Key level of support that I was watching was this weekly value area high, and we didn't even get close to tagging it. Let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, another one, day 4 of consolidation. We tagged this monthly value area low, so we had a little bit of an exploration in there, but we got knocked back down. And we ended up closing with essentially a doji candle. Looks like there was maybe the slightest bit of profit taking here. But overall, I'm liking this setup. This 5-day exponential moving average is caught up with price very nicely. So we'll see what the river brings into next month. Let's take a look at the Russell. Russell, not the best here. So the Russell keeps doing this. It'll make a run at the monthly value area high, then it just falls over. Makes a run, falls over. It's been range bound for months and months and months. This here, I would say this candle, that's a little bit worse than a doji for sure. You can see we explored above this monthly value area, but every time we get above it, there's some sellers that come out and just sell this thing down. I actually have the only hedge that I have on right now is an IWM put calendar spread. So we'll see, my baseline assumption, I hope that hedge doesn't come into play. But yeah, this index just can't catch a break. Then let's see the Dow Jones. Dow Jones remains strong here. Dow Jones also put in a doji candle, and we are hovering above this monthly value area and above all the key moving averages. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to check out market breadth. Market breadth, oh wow, that's kind of interesting. So for most of the day, the Dow breadth was actually positive. It flipped negative at the end of the day. Also keep in mind, today was month end. A lot of times there's month end rebalancing that occurs. A lot of times there's distributions that come out of pension funds. People take required minimum distributions from their IRAs, things of that nature. So a lot of times you do get a little bit of selling at the end of the month. And so we have the Dow negative, IWM negative breadth, but then you can see positive breadth for the S&P 500 and the best breadth for the NASDAQ. looking at our FinViz heat map, the semiconductors were really in my opinion, the only area that made sense to trade if you had gotten into it or you were already established in it. I am established in it with some long common shares in applied materials, but Nvidia, I think, was the real story for today. Other than that, you can see the healthcare sector bounced a little bit after some weakness over the past couple days. And you can see areas like the utilities were strong, REITs. So yeah, mixed across the board. Let's take a look. We'll pull up Nvidia just because I think that was like the real showstopper today. I think it was really like the only thing worth trading, to be quite honest. Nvidia reported earnings a couple days ago, and you can see, I believe, this was the reaction to earnings. There's a red candle there, and then boom, we had some major buyers coming into Nvidia, and you can see we closed at a brand new all-time high. So that is huge. That is I would say, one small step for Nvidia, one giant leap for the semiconductor sector. So let's take a look. When you look at these semis, we keep getting, we're bouncing up, then we fail and fall lower. We actually closed within this monthly value area for the semis, so looking very constructive here. And let's jump into, we'll take a look at our sectors and we'll look at our style factors. So, sectors. Best performer on the day. Is this kind of interesting? Hero. This is, not Hero. Hero is one of the best performers. It's the global video games and esports ETF. We rarely ever talk about that one. That's kind of interesting. And then the other big winner for today was software. Software was up 0.86%. But you can see here, we had a bunch of areas that were green. Some of the red sectors, we had retail off quite a bit, down 1.26%. And then we had the 3D printing ETF, which is off 1.34%. Yeah, overall, just a lot of chop, to be quite honest. And then style factors, you can see we had high beta and cyclicals down for the day. And then the best performing style factor, we had Minvol, we had growth, we had international momentum. Let's take a look at my trades for the day. There's not really all that much to talk about today, actually. So I closed out, I had a Roku call spread on, and I took off the first half. I had paid $4.45 for this. Took off the first half a couple days ago for $5, and I took off the second half today for $4.02. So this ended up being a scratch for this trade. Roku, I think there's a lot of people that are very bullish on this stock. That might actually be one of the reasons why I'm not so bullish on it. Yeah, and you can see this had a weak close. Oh my gosh. So they had a nice headline that came out today, and it was like exclusive rights, some streaming news. And what I noticed, I was like, Roku, compared to some of the other names that I'm trafficking in, this is a weak name. What I'm trying to do, for the most part, is really trade the strongest names, because I know there's going to be a lot of names within the growth space that don't bounce back fully. They might have a little bit of a bounce, but they might roll over and make even lower lows than they did prior. So I'm trying to stick with, where's the quality in the market? Roku, although it was quality, I just think there's so many people that are still bullish on this stock that never sold it. And this stock just had such an epic run in 2020. This is going to be a hot take here, but I don't think Roku is going to be that next big, generational stock. It already was a generational stock down here. So I actually closed out of this call spread. I'm glad that I did, because this green candle turned into a red candle. And as I thought, this just got sold right off. So yeah, closed that one out for a scratch. What else do we have here? I got long some Penn June 18th 82 strike calls for $4.55. Penn Gaming is a stock. As we look here, what I notice is that there is a buyer that is buying this thing off the 5-day exponential moving average. What I notice is that with some of these growth stocks, a lot of these ones that are really beaten down, once you get into month end, a lot of PMs and traders, they'll remove these stocks from their books. For whatever reason, nobody wants to have, losing stock on their books or whatever. They just want to clear it right off. So I figured, hey, I'll buy the calls right into month end. I could see this one inflecting higher off this 5-day EMA into the new month. So I just put this on for a little bit of a scalp. This isn't going to be like a core position for me, but yeah, I just entered that as like a tactical, cash flow trade. We'll see how it works out. I closed out the remaining half of my Tesla call spread. I had a 625 by 635 June 4th call spread. I closed that out for $4.45. I had paid $3.65 for that. First half that I closed out, I believe I got about the same. I think I closed the first half out for like $4.55 or something. But yeah, nice winner. And I just said I would rather put this in my pocket ahead of the holiday weekend. Reason being, Tesla is such a wild card at this point. It's not the stock it once was. And, I'm glad that I took this one off too, because Tesla is also now tied to cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is having a weak day today. So, you do have a lot of weekend risk now with Tesla because you have the cryptocurrency market, which is trading all weekend. So I was like, I'll take off this short-term risk. I'll just put the money in my pocket. So that's what I did. And then what else did we have? Yeah, so not that much in the way of options trading. And then for stock trading, I took, I talked about this in the pre-market, let's see if maybe these stocks will just continue to squeeze. Really the only things I thought that could be in play for today's session were really just stocks that retail traders trade. So I took, I took a tiny position in GME for $261.95. I ended up stopping out of that one shortly after. This one, oh my gosh. Yeah, so I stopped out of this one for $251 and change. So yeah, I took a very small position and really just took like a little paper cut loss here. Just to really try it for a scalp, see if, this thing just ends up mooning. But this is, why these stocks can be crazy. Like I stopped out for $252. And I saw like once we broke into yesterday's the body of the candle, I was like, okay, I'll set my stop right here at the body of the candle. I think if this thing is to go bullish, it should not cross there. And sure enough, right as we crossed there, I guess there was like a cascade of selling. Yeah, this thing just crushed whoever was in it. I'm not sure. I saw somebody post something that said like, I tried to buy calls in GME and my broker wouldn't let me. So I think they may have done that thing again where you can't buy any daily expiring GME call options. You can only do closing orders. So I think that there might have been like another meme stock gate again. I could be wrong on that, but I did see somebody posting about it. But either way, I just took my little stop. And then is here Upstart. So I had added a position in Upstart as a core position, and then I doubled it the other day. So I was pretty big in Upstart. Upstart, I took a gain in this one, just booked it. And I closed my Upstart for $150. I had paid an average cost across those two purchases of 142.72. This row here selling on high volume. What I noticed is, for Upstart, as much as we would all love to sell like the absolute top, what I noticed here is this stock, made a nice move yesterday, but then it sold off today on even higher volume. And that's to me not like, oh, healthy pullback. That to me is like, there were legitimate sellers in this stock today. And this stock, the history of this thing, its character, is it is a very volatile stock. Like, look at this. We had a big old green candle right here. Then we had a reversal candle on even higher volume. And that led to, a big decline in this stock. I still think this stock looks pretty bullish. And I think we can get to, higher levels over the upcoming, days and weeks, months. But I just didn't want to take the chance. So I was like, I'm going to book my gain in here because seeing something a little bit similar. So we'll have to see. I still like this stock long term. I still have this one in the trend portfolio. But, stopped out of it in my trading account. So yeah, nice little trade for that one. And then that was it for today. Yeah, I didn't really do all that much trading. I wasn't really looking to initiate new positions ahead of a 3-day weekend. In terms of our options order flow, let's take a quick look. Yeah, I see some Upstart action, AMC. Let's take a look at Melly. Looks horrible. And then this IPOE is looking really interesting. This SPAC is merging with SoFi. Probably do a little bit of work on this one over the weekend. I'm actually going to write that down. There's a couple of stocks I want to look into in the weekend. And then, over the weekend, I share all my analysis with my Pristine Capital clients. So let's see. I'm going to write down IPOE. Yeah, I find most of my best ideas I find on like a Saturday at like 2 o'clock in the morning. That was how I unearthed, Roblox and a couple of other names. So maybe IPOE could be another one that I look into. Yeah, I see a lot of calls being accumulated in this name. That about does it for our options order flow. And that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all have an awesome 3-day weekend. Hope you get to spend some time with your families. Hopefully have some nice barbecue. And I will see you all when we come back on Tuesday.